Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to US Election Hub, and today we're going to be doing a 2020 Republican primary between Donald Trump and Bill Weld. And for those who don't know who Bill Weld is, he is the former governor of Massachusetts from 1991 to 1997, and he is the first candidate to announce that he would like to primary Donald Trump. And so on February 15, 2019, he formed an exploratory committee to look into the office of running for the presidency. And so Bill Weld is the first major candidate to announce that he's going to primary Donald Trump. And the significant thing about this is the historical context, is that what modern history tells us is presidents who face a primary challenge go on to lose the general election. And so Bill Weld has stated clearly that he's going to try his best to win states and defeat Donald Trump in the primary. But even if he doesn't win, he says that he wants to damage Donald Trump for the primary and make sure Donald Trump does not win re-election. That's a key component of why Bill Weld is running. Now, Bill Weld is very much a long shot candidate. He really has maybe a 2% chance of defeating Donald Trump as of recording this video. But there are numerous things that could happen. And one thing that could happen is Bill Weld could become the next Gene McCarthy. And for those who don't know Gene McCarthy was essentially running a primary campaign against Lyndon B. Johnson in, I believe, 1968. And in New Hampshire, Gene McCarthy did really well, and so that really convinced President Lyndon Johnson to drop out of the race for re-election, and it also considered people like Bobby Kennedy to enter the race in 1968. And so that's what happened for the Democratic Party, but the same thing could happen for the Republican primary. For instance, if Bill Weld wins the state of New Hampshire, it's possible that Donald Trump will drop out and not run for re-election. Now, there is still, maybe a slim chance that Bill Weld actually defeats Donald Trump, but that is, more on the unlikely side of what's going to happen. One thing I also want to look at is how Bill Weld does in polling. Now, we do have one poll out since he's announced, and as you can see from this poll, Bill Weld gets 15% of the vote. In order for Bill Weld to really be competitive, he needs to be getting 33% of the vote, especially, once we get closer to the actual primaries. But given that he's doing this well early on is a good sign. And the reason why is probably because Bill Weld is known particularly in the Boston media market. And what I mean by that is take a look at this region right here. This northeastern region of the United States is home to many liberal Republicans, many moderate Republicans, and independents who are happy to register as Republican to vote against Donald Trump. And the Boston media market essentially allows Bill Weld to be relatively known in a lot of these states here, like New Hampshire, Massachusetts. And so this is really going to help him out during the primary and going to be very significant for Bill Weld. And so I do expect Bill Weld to do decent in some of these states, and we'll explore that in a second. But just going back to the primary, we can see that Bill Weld, is beating out someone like John Kasich, who's only getting 14% of the vote against Donald Trump. And so what this shows us is Donald Trump is getting weaker, and maybe the Mueller report will be the thing that really damages Donald Trump's approval among Republicans and really makes them think, oh, should we support Bill Weld? And so let's go ahead and actually take a look at our map real quick. And I'm not going to fill in this whole map because it takes a lot of time to do the Republican primary map. So I'm going to open up a presidential map, and I'm just going to show you guys which states that Bill Weld would win in a Republican primary. And so let's take a look here. And Bill Weld, in his best case scenario, guys, we're going to be doing a best case scenario for Bill Weld. And so in his best case scenario, he's going to win New Hampshire and essentially all these states down this, northeastern corridor. And so those would be pickups for Bill Weld. Bill Weld would also win Maine, Minnesota, and Utah. And Bill Weld is going to get a lot of his votes from the same people who supported Marco Rubio, Jeb Bush, John Kasich, and Chris Christie. And all these people will probably vote for Bill Weld, and that would help Bill Weld win at least, numerous states here. He would also do fairly well in California and New York, but he probably would not win them outright. And so, the rest of these states would go for Donald Trump, and they would not allow Bill Weld to obviously win the Republican nomination. But regardless, Bill Weld can make a dent in Donald Trump, and And the media will definitely attack Donald Trump after he loses some states, which is going to really help Bill Weld and essentially, damage Donald Trump for 2020. So thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time. Bye.